This morning, he held a meeting with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, who gave his support to Russia's security and foreign policy aims. It comes at a time when many in the West fear President Putin is planning to invade Ukraine. China also gave its backing to the demand that NATO halt its expansion.
So here is a side effect of the United States' belligerent imperialism when it comes to Ukraine. So we have an article here from the BBC. China joins Russia in opposition to NATO expansion. Moscow and Beijing issued a statement showcasing their agreement on a raft of issues during a visit by Russia's Vladimir Putin for the Winter Olympics. Mr. Putin claims Western powers are using the NATO defense alliance to undermine Russia. It comes amid tensions over Ukraine, which he denies planning to invade. Ukraine also says, by the way, that Russia is not trying to invade. Some 100,000 Russian troops remain at the border with Ukraine, which is a former Soviet republic. Mr. Putin, who has written that Russians and Ukrainians are one nation, has demanded that Ukraine are barred from joining NATO. So much propaganda we got to sift through. While the lengthy joint statement did not refer directly to Ukraine, the two countries accused NATO of espousing a Cold War ideology. The talks, which the Kremlin said were very warm, were held ahead of the game's opening ceremony. It was first time the leaders have met face-to-face since the start of the pandemic. Friendship between Russia and China has no limits. There are no forbidden areas of cooperation. So, as our belligerent empire tries to expand NATO, expand its imperial influence over Europe, and play geopolitical chess, with Russia and China, this is obvious to anyone who is viewing this, and it would be the logical thing for these two world leaders to do, which is to grow closer. We are simultaneously saber-rattling with China as well as Russia. And we're virtually forcing them into a block. And this isn't good news for U.S. imperialists. This is the worst thing you could want to happen if you're an imperialist. I happen to think a multipolar world wouldn't be such a bad thing. But our imperialism is pushing Russia and China into a closer relationship. So now China has joined Russia in opposing NATO expansion, but they're also getting some economic agreements done. Russia, China agree 30-year gas deal via new pipeline to settle in euros. Russia has agreed a 30-year contract to supply gas to China via a new pipeline and will settle the new gas sales in euros, bolstering an energy alliance with Beijing amid Moscow's strained ties with the West over Ukraine and other issues. So almost Russia's entire economy is based on the sale of fossil fuels. One of our imperial strategies has been to pressure Europe into not taking gas from the Russians, right? Specifically in reference to Germany. We want to simultaneously cripple Russia's economic capabilities while also bolstering our own corporate adventures, right? We want our oil fields that we've spent trillions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of troops on in the Middle East to be supplying Europe with fossil fuels. We don't want Russia to do that. So the belligerence of our empire is growing a strong bond between Russia and China. It's a good thing for a multipolar world, absolutely horrible thing for American exceptionalists. it also goes to show, like, these guys who are so-called masterminds running the country, the intelligence agencies, unless their goal is World War III, they're really bad at their jobs. They're really bad at their jobs. I mean, we're not any more secure by saber rattling with Russia. It only endangers us. And here's one of the consequences. Now Russia is growing closer ties to China, something that hasn't happened in decades. Absolutely decades.